Ho, ho, ho! It's Santa Claus! Let me give you an existential bone welcome.
Ho, 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 ho.
I am so grateful that you've come in all the way from the North Pole to meet with me today. I have a world of gratitude for our shared friend, James Pyle, conversations friend. He's responsible for introducing me to you. He knows that I'm trying to come out of my coffin, come out of my shell, and expand my network. And he knows that you're another immortal being, such as myself, and you're of the light. You spread good in the world, and you have for millennium. And I am so grateful that I get to meet you today.
Well, it's so good to see you. And you remind me of all my elves that work up at the North Pole. Maybe you could get a job up there someday when you get ready to leave Iowa.
Thank you so much. That is a very tempting offer. Would it be okay if I bring my hearse driver along as well?
But of course, a hearse. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I am of the light now. And so I have a lot to learn from you in all the ways of Santa's workshop and all the ways that you bring happiness and goodness and cheer to others. Now, I have had this awakening leading to me being of the light. And before that, I was very selfish. I was just really only about my own survival. And I was constantly taking blood and things from other people. But now I live to give, and I am blessing and awakening and spreading light and love in every direction like you. So can you talk a little bit about how it is to be you and to give as you do? Because you're my mentor. I mean, you've been at this for time immemorial.
Well, I have to say that you might have been on my naughty list years and years ago, but now you've made it to the good list. And I think if you keep doing what you're doing, you might make it even to the best list. But certainly, don't give up hope. The weather's cold and the hard work and long hours, but it's worth it all for sure.
Well, I thought of you this morning because the wee hours of the morning, which is really the vampire night's end, my hearse driver and I had to run out. We were a little bit low on beet juice, and we ran out, and it was a light dusting snow. It was very, very cold, and I was completely comfortable lounging in the back of the hearse. But I thought of you, and I thought how difficult it must be to work through the night tirelessly, to bring presents and gifts, and to bless the lives of all those that are waiting for you every year.
Well, it is one very busy night, and I do travel a lot of miles, and the weather changes every few hours. It depends on which direction I'm going and where I'm going, but it's okay. It's not a big deal because I have a whole year to rest and recover and get ready for the next Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So it's really okay. But thank you for caring, and that's another good characteristic of you, the V vegan vampire.
Well, what are you doing for the rest of the year, Santa Claus?
Well, right now I'm getting ready, of course, to deliver all the goods and visit all the children and their parents, and everybody gets a little something from Santa Claus at this time of year. And but I have something for everybody who's watching today to get them in the mood and also get them into the understanding that it's not just about talking; it's about body language too.
Really? So what something do you have for our listeners today?
I have the list of the 10 best Christmas animated movies that I know.
Wow. And why would you want people to know this list of 10 best animated Christmas movies that you know?
Well, it helps them to understand body language. It helps them to maybe practice what they see and present good body language so that their conversations and their communications can be as excellent as they can be.
And why does body language matter to you, Santa?
Well, I make the good list and the naughty list, and I can tell a lot by what people do and don't do, say and don't say, but I do see a lot and how they do what they do. So I pay attention to that.
Well, chim, chim, chim to you. Do you know that vampires hardly have a childhood? So I'm having a little too much fun dressed today as an elf. And I do feel that I'm in deeper rapport with you, which is something I learned from Conversations Friend.
Ah, sure, you can always be as best as you can be to be friendly with people, to share their common interest, and you've done just that with your little green and red outfit there. And I applaud you for your rapport.
Well, thank you. And as a vampire, body language wasn't so important to me because I would just go about my deadly business and people had no chance of resisting me anyway. And now I'm learning all kinds of new things about what it is to be human and how it is to engage with humans. And you are a wonderful teacher for me. And so I was wondering, why would you recommend that I learn body language?
Well, it's going to help you be more in the light, more comfortable in the light. Certainly, that's an issue to present your best heart, your best spirit, your best smile, to have people smile back at you, to want to have a conversation with you, to want to learn more about you, so that your body language presentation is also received by people to be a good connection, to be a good rapport, and to be a good conversation. So it's to your benefit.
Well, that helps me to get motivated. And what about for kids of every age that might be listening to our conversation?
Well, pay attention to everything you see, everybody you see, every time you see somebody, their body's talking to you. And be able to listen with your eyes as well as your ears and incorporate body language every day from now on.
Well, jingle jangle to that, Santa Claus. So, what of this list of 10 recommendations that you have for children of every age?
Well, at Christmas time, there's a lot of movies to watch if you have time. And to watch some of the animated movies, you can learn a lot about body language. And so I've made a list of the top 10 movies that I think are the best body language presentations for Christmas time to learn from. Number 10 on the list is a movie that's probably more closely associated with you and your former life than any other movies on the list, and that would be The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh,
The animation is very stop action, and it's very expressive. It's very demonstrative. It's not normal body positioning, talking. It's very extreme, and so you see the extreme expressions and of body language. And then I would encourage you to, if you watch the movie and you see these extreme body movements, try to do those yourself. Try to accentuate your movements like they do in the movie, and see how you feel about demonstrating that body language that you have a little more over the top, a little more expressively, and see if that's fun to do.
well, I am learning about this thing called fun, and I do love over the top and I love extreme. What's number 9, Santa?
How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It's a classic movie. A lot of folks love it. I love it myself. And it has a lot of emotions in this movie, very associated with kids in this Christmas time. And so these emotions are easy to identify. And so then you can see them in real life when people have the same kind of feelings, if they're sad or they're happy, so that you can identify a fuller range of emotions.
So, in The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, it helps you to learn a full range of human emotions.
Yeah, and how the body language is associated with that. If there's sadness or if there's happiness and joy and the hands are up. And so you look at the contrast, and that's a good movie for that kind of thing.
Fantastic. What's number 8?
Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas. And the reason I include this one in the list of 10 is because Disney animation is the foundation for the best animation ever was, ever will be. Back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s and 60s, the best animation that you could see at the time, and it is transcended time. And one of the best features of Disney animation is there's not as much background distraction. The backgrounds are very, very plain. So you see the character, you see the character's movements, you see the character's eyes, and the eyes are always very expressive, and they're always very big. And Disney made very, very specific animation to that end, so that we can really see what people are thinking and feeling with their eyes.
Well, the eyes have it on that one. And what's number 7?
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Again, stop action, emotions. Characters now are not human-like, but they're animals, and every animal has a human characteristic, and they communicate with human communication skills, but they are in an animal form, and it's very easy to watch and very traditional. And of course, I have a real good association with Rudolph myself, so I wanted to include him on the list.
Yes, I hear that you hang out a lot with reindeer. What's the next one?
Charlie Brown Christmas. Charlie Brown has a transformative event in this movie, and we see him initially very, very sad, and we identify his sadness and his angst about the holidays, and it ends on a very high note. And so you see the difference transition from the beginning to the end. And again, it's a very, very nice story.
I would imagine I would love to hear about that kind of transformation. I would identify with it personally. And what's the next one?
Well, there's a movie that maybe a lot of folks haven't seen. It's comes from Great Britain, and it's The Flight Before Christmas with Shaun the Sheep.
Oh,
And the whole movie only has non-dialogue. They just have it's claymation. Okay, claymation is a different animation form, and it's a very, very entertaining form. And but they don't speak audibly as dialogue, and so you really have to pay attention to what you're seeing to understand what's going to be happening. And that's the key. Then it's very, very observable, and it requires a lot of watching. And so the body talk in The Flight Before Christmas is a wonderful, wonderful experience and challenge.
wow. So what is number 4?
Number 4 is Angela's Christmas. And Angela's Christmas, I would note, is you want to pay attention to the eyes again. The eyes in this movie are so easy. It's 30 minutes. It's not very long. And the eyes then are very easy to understand the emotions that correlate with the body language. And it's a nice story. Again, all these movies are nice stories. All these movies have a good ending. And that's, I wouldn't recommend a sad ending story on this list. But the story's good, but the eyes are the feature throughout with all the characters.
Wonderful. And 3?
A Christmas Carol. The Disney Christmas Carol. It came out maybe 10, 12 years ago. I don't remember exactly when. But they incorporated a new animation type, and that's motion capture, in that the characters were real people with sensors all over their body, so that the computer would read all of their movements, just like I'm doing here.
Oh.
And the computers would see that and translate that to the animated screen. And so they were actually using real actors doing real movements. And so that becomes really, really essential for body talk, body language. So that's a good, very good holiday theme with that kind of a capture to get good body language interpretation.
Well, chim to that. And what's number 2?
Well, this one is second to my favorite animated movie. And the reason being it's incorporated with body language, and I'll tell you the title in a second, is that the book was written called The Snowman. Not Frosty the Snowman, just The Snowman. And it was a picture book. Pictures only, no words printed on the book. So that you just looked at it page for page and saw the progression and the activity, and you interpreted what you saw. So in the movie, they've done the very same thing. There's no dialogue. It's only visual.
Wow.
So that challenges you to become like the most expert body language readers that are on the planet. And that's the deaf and hard of hearing community, who can only see what they see and they don't hear.
Oh.
And that makes them the best body language interpreters because it's so necessary. And so The Snowman is a book with no words and a movie with no dialogue. And that then challenges us to really, really pay attention to what we see, to understand the communicated message.
Incredible. Well, I'm in suspense, Santa Claus. What's your all-time favorite movie that you recommend for learning body language?
I have a bias. It's my favorite Christmas movie of all time, and that's The Polar Express. And it is like the Christmas Carol, a motion capture animation. We have one character in the movie, one actual actor that plays 5 characters in the movie. And to see those transitions and those changes out of one person is very, very subtle and very, very interesting to me. But the story is key. The body language is superb. The body language is accurate. There's no confusing what you see with what they mean for you to understand.
Santa Claus, that is quite a list of learning and entertainment all in one. I think they call that edutainment. I think that list is going to keep me and lots of people extremely busy learning their body language through the holiday season and well into the new year.
And if you put that on your Christmas list, maybe you'll get some of these for Christmas. I'll have to deliver them myself, but I'd be glad to do that for anybody and everybody. And so until next year, Merry Christmas, everybody, and Happy New Year.
Ho, 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 Santa Claus. I hope that in time I can sparkle just as bright as you and Mrs. Claus and all your elves.
Well, I can see the sparkles now. They're beginning to develop behind you and around you. It's almost like an aura, and you're beginning to capture the spirit of Christmas and the spirit of light, and we're glad to have you here.
Thank you. It feels so good to be in the network of the light. Well, with that, Santa Claus, I will give you my awakening bone blessing to empower you in the long, cold nights that you fly across the world and deliver countless gifts and blessings to the children of all ages throughout our world.